Hey, Jane. I just got engaged! Which means that sometime soon here, I'll make sure to introduce you to him. But could you make sure to have a better understanding of the position you're in before then? That's something I need you to know first. Wait, you got engaged? Well, congratulations for that. Now, what's this about my position? I told my fiancé that my older sister is nothing more than high school dropout scum. So please, think of yourself as a slave when you're meeting with him. If you start to sit down with the rest of us and eat with the rest of us, I'm going to get upset. What are you going on about, Casey? Are you saying that you don't want me to introduce myself as your brother's wife, but rather as a slave? What? Oh, you're so funny. I would love it if you said that about yourself to him, so please do that. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm this family's slave, Jane. Is that what you'll say to introduce yourself to him? That seems like a much better way of telling him about who you are, and I'd very much love to see that. But that would be way too embarrassing, so could you please not do that? Just as long as you do the things you're supposed to be doing, that should be enough. I see. Actually, I don't really see. And like always, make sure you get the house all nice and tidied up before we come, all right? Also, would you please get some good coffee for us as well as some sweets? Ah, so that's what you want me doing. Understood then. So when you get married to him, does that mean you'll finally be leaving this house? You're surely going to go and live with him, right? That's the plan I have right now, but that has nothing to do with you, right? Oh, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry for asking. Hey, listen, is there anything we can do about the way you speak to me? Remember, I'm your husband's little sister, okay? I want you to speak more politely to me, please. Unlike a high school dropout like you, I actually went to and graduated from university, which means that I'm on a completely different level from you. Ah, yes, ma'am. My apologies for the confusion there. From here on out, allow me to use a more polite form of speech with you. For some reason, you're even more annoying now. Are we done here? My fiancé happens to be a doctor, all right? That means the world he's living in is leagues different from the hole you have to crawl out from. So please, don't force him to have to listen to any of your utter nonsense when he's over. Oh, so he's a doctor then? Well, that is very amazing. Right? He won't even be able to make small talk with a high school dropout idiot like you. So please, don't say anything needless to him while he's around you, okay? If he were to catch you're stupid, that would be a major risk to his career, right? Understood. I'll make sure to keep my lips sealed shut tight. Oh, now I'd like to tell you this. Your cleaning today is by far the worst I've seen out of you so far. The trim around my windows was still covered in things like dust and dead bugs. Understood. My apologies for that. Starting the next time I clean, I will make sure to really put my back into all of it and triple check to make sure all the areas of the house are covered. For some reason, you're only getting more annoying. Anyway, on the day my fiancé comes over to see you guys, make sure to keep your mouth shut and work like our slave. Do you understand that? Yes, I understand you loud and clear. My fiancé just arrived at the house and will be coming in soon, so get your ugly ass down here and get the coffee ready. Where the hell are you and what have you been doing? I'm so sorry about that. I can see he's already here at the house. I just finished with all the cleaning. I'll be coming down there right now. I made sure to tell him that you're our slave, so make sure you get everything ready for us within seconds. Of course, I'll be very quick. No slothing around, you high school dropout. So sorry if things seemed that way. To think that you and him happened to know one another before this? The moment he saw you and noticed who you were, he went up to you and hugged you with all his strength. I was so surprised by that, there was no way for me to speak any more words out of my mouth. That's what it seemed. Sorry for that. I mean, I never even thought myself that that man who would be your fiancé would be the same man I went to college with overseas. Tyler. I was so happy to see him again, and it's been so long now. So that means he's back from whatever he was doing overseas, right? Wait, sure he's back now, but what the hell is all of this about? You just said that the both of you went to the same college with one another? You are supposed to be a high school dropout, right? Yes, that's correct. The last schooling I had in the United States was middle school. But soon after that, I went overseas to go to high school in the UK. And then once I'd graduated from there, I went to Germany, and that's where I'd gone to college. I then went back to the UK again for my final years in college, and that's where I met with Tyler. At the time, he and I became really close to one another, actually. But then after we had both graduated, our lives got in the way of things, and we no longer were really talking to one another much. We never were able to tell one another about our phone numbers when we came back to the US, and so it was hard for us to ever know each other's situation. Really, I had no idea he was even in the same state as us. But wow, to think we'd meet again in this way. This is not the time for you to be surprising about anything. I'm just hearing about how you went to high school and college overseas. What the hell is up with that? I never heard anything about all of that. Well, I'm sure you never did. After all, you and I never really talked to one another outside of you yelling at me and bossing me around. And you never asked me about my past education, so I never thought to tell you anything about myself. Right? I mean, all you heard from me was that I had never graduated from high school in the US, and that's where you stopped listening to anyone and only called me a high school dropout. It's not like I had a reason to get the story straight with you anyway, because you would never listen, right? So I just let things be the way they've been. But hearing that you went to college overseas and at the exact same place that Tyler was going, wouldn't that make you an elite like him? I'm not sure what all about that would make me an elite. But if you're just speaking about my educational history alone, then sure, you could call me an elite. What the hell? Now you're getting carried away with yourself. If you call yourself an elite, then why are you not working right now and stay a housewife? Well, the thing is, me being a housewife doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have a job right now. I'm making sure that all of my husband's family is okay and that you all are supported by someone who cares. Oh, and that's not all though, considering I am also working online. But that's just something I do with my free time because I can. And since I have a kid with your brother right now, there's no way for me to work a full-time job, right? I'm sure that you're not aware of this yet, but being the type of housewife that I am right now is actually quite a challenging task at times. What the hell is that? Wait, did you just say you're working online from home? I never heard anything about you doing something like that. Well, like you said about my education, that makes sense. You thought that I would just start talking to you about how I work from home time to time when you never once asked me what I do besides cleaning and caring. If I were to just break out saying that to you from nowhere, that would be kind of lame of me, right? Wait, well, I guess it would be, but it's not like you ever had any interest in me before, right? Anytime you would talk to me, it was just to tell me what you wanted me to do for you. Sure, you would put on a face in front of your mom and brother to make yourself look all goody two-shoes. But when it was just you and me, you would have me speak to you in the politest way I could. And you would call me your slave all the time, making it pretty clear that you had no interest in me at all. Well, sure, I didn't have interest in you before. Don't you say anything useless to my fiancé, though, all right? What would you define as useless? Like, give me an example, please. So far, I haven't been telling him any lies or anything. And when he asks me something, I answer it with the truth. And if he never asks me about another thing, I never answer it. That's the way I've always spoken with others and the way I plan to continue to speak with him. Well, don't tell him anything about how I called you a slave and used you like one. I don't want him thinking that there's something wrong with me. I have to get married to that man. I already went and quit my own job in preparation for this marriage, so if you start saying unnecessary stuff to him about me, I'll be the one in trouble. What's that? Weren't you just making fun of how I'm a housewife and all that before? That was just me making fun of a low-life loser like you. Well, it seems you have some educational background after all that's worthwhile, right? And hearing that you've been working some from home as well does change things. But of course, you're still my older brother's wife, which means that me being able to mess with you all I want isn't going to change because of those things. Oh, is that right? Well, suit yourself. I just hope that you'll be able to get married to Tyler, really. I'm going to get married whether you're hoping for it or not. As long as you don't say anything useless to him, then I'm going to be able to marry him. So shut your damn mouth and leave us be. That doesn't sound like the right attitude to be asking something like that from me with. Anyway, I have chores and such to get back to now, so I'll be going.
Jane! I was so shocked by everything that ended up happening yesterday, but being able to meet with you again after so long made me happy. Man, I can't believe that Casey's sister-in-law would turn out to be you, of all people.
Right? I'm shocked that such a coincidence like this would ever happen to me. And for a long time now, I'd been really wondering how things were going for you out in the world. Being able to meet with you after so many years has gone by has made me really happy as well.
We both had a great time, it seems, then. But it kind of stinks that you had to be kicked out like that by Casey, leading to us not being able to talk more and catch up. Did you know that before she was telling me all about how her sister-in-law was like a slave to her? Was that her referencing you that way? I thought she was just joking about all of that at first, and that's why it wasn't that big of a deal to me at first. But now that I saw what happened yesterday, does that mean...
Right. You're right about her. She has always been calling me a slave and has been working me like one as well. My husband and both of my in-laws are very kind to me and all, but she seems to be the only one who thinks that it's okay to use me however she wants to, instead of like family.
Is that really true? I was always told by her that her sister-in-law never graduated from high school and that she was too stupid to understand anything logical. That's what she was telling me before, at least. Does that mean...
About that, actually. She's always been assuming I'm someone I'm not, and because she never offers to actually listen to me, I gave up arguing with her. For a little while, she and I actually did talk some small talk, but somewhere along the way, I must have said something that changed her mind about me. And ever since then, she hasn't been able to listen to a single word I say to her, nor anyone else's words about me.
I see. You had always been so smart and funny to talk with before. To hear that someone like you isn't being listened to or even spoken to by her?
Right. I think you're picking up what I mean. And with her never listening to anything I have to say, she's always thought of me as this high school dropout and nothing more than that. To be honest, it's never really bothered me, though. I am, after all, just the housewife of the home she's been living in. So long as she's sticking around in the house, I'll be taking care of her needs. But I like to think that when she leaves, and I really hope that she soon will, my days will become a lot brighter again, and I can finally have a chance to rest.
Is that right? If you're saying all that about her, then she must really be a problem. She makes you do all of the chores for her?
Yes, of course.
What? But she's living in her parents' house with all of you still, right? Shouldn't she have been doing the chores alongside you this whole time, since she's their daughter?
Well, if that's the way things had gone at the start, then I'm sure we wouldn't be having this conversation. But that never ended up happening with her, as she seems to think of herself as someone better than a person that does the chores. And now that I'm in the house with the family, she thinks it's right for her to use me to do all of the chores for her and everyone else. Well, this wasn't going to be avoided, though, considering the person she is.
But you're her sister-in-law, right? What makes her think that she can talk to her older sister like that?
Right? Who the hell knows, to be honest. But having to try and talk with her about that is too much work for me. So I just shut up and let her have her fun.
I see. But if that's the case, then I'm a bit... Getting married to someone who thinks and acts like that is a bit too... I mean, she's making someone like you work like her slave, right? Even though you did so much for me in the past and were a really great friend of mine. I just feel that in the future, if she's my wife and I come home from work all tired and wanting to relax, she's... Wait, now that I think about it, can she even cook?
Not that I'm aware of, because I've never even seen her in the kitchen cooking. Oh, there was this one time she tried making scrambled eggs, but ended up burning them to a crisp. Why do you ask?
I'm starting to really get it now. There have been a couple of times she's made food for me, saying that she wanted me to try her cooking. And well, after all you were saying about her, I started to wonder if that was really her cooking.
Oh, I'm not sure if it was or wasn't hers. But if it tasted really good and wasn't burnt, then she might have ordered takeout or something and dressed it up on a plate for you.
Really? I guess that makes sense. Thank you for telling me that.
What? Are you going to do something about that?
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I need to go and have a long conversation with her about some things now. And before I get to that, I'll make sure to prepare myself for the worst.
Wait, what are you talking about, Tyler? It's all because of you that my marriage is not going to happen now. You, what the hell did you say to my fiancé? Why the hell was he telling me about you when he said things were off? You're making a mistake there. None of that has anything to do with me and cannot be my fault. I believe the reason he's leaving you now is because of your own faults. No, this has all happened because you began to say unnecessary crap to him about me, right? You told him all about how I was calling you a slave and was making fun of you, right? Casey, did you actually go and talk with Tyler about all of this before coming to me? Because from what I'm hearing, you're still not aware of all the stupid and bad things you did that led you to this outcome. What kind of stupid and bad things are you talking about? What's wrong with me using a woman like you who married into my family as a slave to do all of my bidding? I'm betting that you told him a bunch of lies about me too to make me look even worse. Ugh. You really do have all this wrong inside that thick head of yours. You were the one who stabbed him in the back, all right? What? What the hell are you going on about? I never once stabbed him in the back. Well, from what Tyler told me, you went and lied to him about your cooking, right? But he knows now that the food you gave him was just takeout that you bought from somewhere else before going to his place and dressed up all nicely on a dish. What? Why do you know about all that? Well, I am good friends with Tyler. So when he told me about that a while ago, we both felt that it was kind of weird that you were able to cook for him. I told you, didn't I? I told you to stop talking to him. So you didn't do as you promised me before? Didn't do as I promised you. I'm sorry, but I never promised you anything before, Casey. So stop treating me like I'm a dog that's supposed to be listening to all of your commands. And by the way, out of the two of us, you're the true dog here. If it wasn't for me always taking care of you, then you'd never be able to survive. What did you just say to me? For someone that couldn't even make scrambled eggs, you think we're going to believe you could cook this magnificent meal for him? No way in hell that actually could happen with you. You know, the other day I was talking with Tyler some more and we were both laughing about how you would always complain about my cooking, like you know any better. Huh? How much have you been talking with Tyler about me? Saying all of those things about me without me around? Is it really that fun for you to put others down like that behind their backs? Well, you seem to have a lot of fun doing it behind my back when you called me your slave before. And it's not like I was lying about any of the things he and I were laughing about you over. I mean, I would be a lot more kind to you behind your back had you been a nicer sister-in-law to me. But let's just say, hey, just know that he was always the one initiating the conversations with me, and all I did was answer him with the truths about you. You are a total bitch for that, though. Why would you do all of that useless crap to me? Because if I had to choose between you and him, Tyler is far more important to me. which means I never felt the need to have to go out of my way to help make you look like a better person by lying to him. I'm your sister-in-law, though. That makes you and I family, right? Also, I heard about how you want me to get out of the house now, right? And that's why you were so happy to hear about me getting married soon. Well, I want to get married soon, too. Oh, you noticed how happy I was getting about that? Well, you're right. I want you to get out of your parents' house as soon as possible for me. But don't worry, that's going to be happening regardless whether you marry Tyler or not. Huh? What the hell are you going on about now? What does that even mean? I said that because both of your parents are going to disown you now. What? Why would they do that? Because you're still stabbing Tyler in the back the moment we're speaking right now, correct? Huh? What is that supposed to mean? You can play stupid all you want, but you're only wasting your own time. We have all the evidence we need proving what you're doing to be true. You haven't been out playing around with another man that isn't Tyler, right? Well, Tyler realized something was up with you and asked for someone else to look into you while he was busy. Wait, why would he do something like that to me over such a small thing? Remember that both Tyler and I are smart people, and to us, we have a very good idea of when things go from normal to off. So when he realized that you had been lying to him about your so-called cooking, a light bulb turned on above his head. What? Something like that could happen? People are very strange creatures, aren't they? And when he realized that you were someone who was totally fine with lying all the time about everything and everyone, he thought there had to be many more lies you were telling him. My ex-boyfriend cheated on me in the past, and so I knew where Tyler was coming from with that feeling. And so when he asked me about you, I just told him that it wouldn't be crazy to think that you'd be doing the same thing to him like my ex had done. That's what tipped him off? Not just that, though. What was it you planned to do after you got married to him? You were going to become a housewife after you had already gone and quit your decent job, right? I mean, you were already trying to act like one weeks ago when you'd stay at Tyler's house, right? Well, what were you doing all day when you said you were cooking for him and such, but were just getting takeout and leaving it on the stove for him, Was your day just filled with you getting that food for him? At that time, I was practicing how to cook and such for him. I didn't have anything else to do at the time, so I was going to class to learn how to be a good cook for. I see. You've always been great at making yourself look like an elite, but something like cooking would become your downfall if found out. So you were on the right path there, lying about going to class in order to become a better cook while Tyler was out of his house. Ah, thank God. I would have felt so bad for Tyler had he actually gotten married to a woman like you. I just knew it. You went and did all of this to me, didn't you? Not really. I think you still have the wrong idea blaming me for all of this. Remember, I'm not an elite like you are, so I'd never ever go out spreading lies about you to make you look bad. But you did do some terrible things to me over the years, and so I had every right to go out and tell Tyler the truth when he was asking for it. That's why when I told him, you just looked bad regardless. Well, what you're doing to me right now is even worse than anything I'd ever done. I knew you would never be able to understand me. The fact that you're still having so much trouble seeing that you've been in the wrong and that you need to learn from your mistakes just goes to show that you and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to common people skills. Well, that's too bad, because unlike you, Tyler is just like me and can actually understand where I'm coming from with all of this. So he's going to be leaving you now after he gets that settlement, and that will be all. What? What settlement are you talking about? Wait a second, we weren't even married yet. And in my case, me not getting married is already causing me so much trouble, right? That doesn't matter to him. You're the one that chose to stab him in the back at the end of the day. All because you seem to think that you could just get away with everything, all because you don't have a good understanding of what it means to be a proper adult. Had you at least tried to be a good sister-in-law to me, then I might actually be trying to help you get married to him. But after everything I've heard from you today, you just tied the knot to your own noose. I hope that rotting in hell after today helps you to understand the kind of narrow-minded and selfish pile of crap you really are deep down. After that, Tyler went to Casey again and made sure to tell her as clearly as he could that he wanted to end things with her forever. And in order to stop her from coming up with all kinds of excuses for her actions, he handed her all the evidence he had. So in the end, she had really no other choice but to listen to what he wanted and no longer see him as her fiancé or boyfriend anymore. And with both of her parents knowing about what she'd done as well, they made sure to disown her, and she was really on her own from that point on. My husband and I had also made sure to cut ties to her when we had the chance and blocked her on everything as well in order to stop any further trouble. We also made sure to take all of her things that she had in her room and packed them all up nicely for her and placed them outside, so that when she did come back, she could take them and not have to come inside. I really don't have much interest in what happened to her after that, so I'm not sure about all the details. But I've heard rumors about how she got herself a part-time job and has been working in order to pay off her settlement to Tyler. I hope that all of the hard work that she's going to be put through now will be enough to change her horrible behavior and maybe get her to think twice about being such a selfish jerk.